somebody came up to us and they said, "Which way is the restroom?" You said, "Well,
whoa, hold on. I can help you out, but I'm gonna need you to get on these tickets first."
That's exactly right. And then when somebody came up to me and said something about some food or something, I said, "Well, I'll tell you for $20 on this 50/50 raffle, you get you 20 tickets." So listen, I learned from the master. Okay. But there was this part, so it became a game. Like, to be honest with you, it became a game.
It was fun for us.
Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young. And we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it.
Hey, babe, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I am good.
Welcome back to the podcast, those that are tuning in.
Yes. And I don't know, I kind of have to say, we were just talking about your cologne choice for the day. And I had to figure out what it was, what you smelled like, and you asked me if I like it. And I kind of do.
Okay.
Anyway, we're in proximity, so that's why it matters, because I'm sitting right next to you, and so
like you said, you kind of do. Like, is that an insult?
No, it's not you. It's me.
Yeah, there's something wrong with your nose.
I mean, hey, if you like it, that's cool. Now, this is what I will say.
I smell like a man.
I will agree with that.
Man.
Not you growling. But for date night, I would make a different choice. That's all I'm saying.
It's so funny. Like, I've had this cologne for a while, and you've liked it, and it was just interesting.
Have I?
Yes.
Did I say I loved it? On a scale of 1 to 10, yes. Did I say 10?
Yeah, you helped me select it. You were with me when I chose this cologne.
Was I?
Yes, you were.
Okay.
So it's interesting that you're asking.
Things are changing.
You know what?
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying I think there are other ones that I like better today.
You know what's funny is, nope, I'm not even gonna say it.
What?
Nothing.
What?
It's cool. We can go and buy me some more cologne.
You always buy my cologne and my perfumes, and I do enjoy them, but I'm also probably overall not as picky as you.
Well,
yeah,
I have a good palate, a good sense of smell. I question yours sometimes.
I feel like mine has gotten heightened in more recent years. I really do. Anywho, so today.
Yeah.
I love you, babe.
It's all good.
So, in more recent, times to this week, as a matter of fact, we actually experienced something real interesting.
We had a lot of stuff going on.
You have been really busy, and months ago, I would say, it was definitely at least 2 months ago, you probably were like, "Hey, babe, why don't you come up to Michigan with me to the Lions game and volunteer?" And I was like, okay. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Yeah, it was a worthy cause.
Did you know what we were getting ourselves into?
I mean, I knew it was going to be work. I knew it was volunteerism.
Yeah, of course, volunteerism. But I have done some volunteerism that wasn't a whole lot of work.
Then did you really volunteer?
I did. I promise. This was different. And I am not the spring chicken I once was. And my body told me so when I was volunteering this weekend.
I've done volunteer things through work and, helping raise funds for different causes. And it's work. And this was no different. So we participated in in selling raffle tickets for a 50/50 raffle.
Yeah.
At a Detroit Lions game.
Yes.
And it was work, but it was a lot of fun. But I think the reason we bring it to the podcast is because it was very interesting. Like, we don't believe in debt. We don't believe in credit cards. We don't believe in, gambling. And it's a lot of things that fundamentally aren't exactly what we might choose to do. But considering that this was a raffle where half the funds went to the organization and then half the funds went to the winner, I was like, this is something we can get behind.
Sure, it's a good cause, and that's what I was telling everybody. It's a good cause. I think the thing that was different for us is, one, people wanted to pull out cash and to donate in that way. A lot of folks actually.
Yeah, I was surprised.
We weren't taking cash. They didn't want volunteers to have
zero cash at the stadium.
Yes, so we had to do transactions using a card reader, and that caused people. Typically, what I say to folks is, when you use plastic, you're going to spend more.
Yeah, you spend more money.
And so we found ourselves trying to get people to spend more money. Because the more you spend, the more tickets you get, the more value it is, right? So first of all, in the very beginning, did you know that I didn't know it was Power Hour? Did you sense that? Because I was like, stop saying that.
Right. And I was like, what are you I know what I'm doing.
So explain Power Hour, babe.
Well, just with this fundraiser, the first hour, whatever you spend, you get double the value of the tickets. If you spend, $20 for 20 tickets, it was $20 for 40 tickets. $100 instead of 400 tickets, you got 800 tickets. So
it's a big deal.
I was really encouraging people to participate.
So this is something they do on a routine basis, right? They have raffle tickets that people purchase all the time at these games. We just volunteered this one time. So these people knew about Power Hour.
Oh, yeah.
And
they were regulars that said they buy every week.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I'm all about supporting causes, but you got to check your budget, because I found there were a couple things I noticed. There were some people who were like, okay, run it. Let's see.
Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can spend my $100. They don't know if they had it.
They said, let's see if it goes through.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I was like, okay.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that at all.
But I was taking all the payments.
You were.
Okay. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Especially from a financial perspective, we wouldn't encourage people to do that.
Exactly.
But in this particular instance, I was like, well, let me run it.
Well,
I was like, it went through. Here you go.
We did what the consumer asked, right?
Right.
And then the other part that was painful for me is turning away cash. They wanted to pay with cash, and I get it. They don't want all of these. They had 100 volunteers. They didn't want 100 volunteers having to schlep around a whole bunch of money, right?
I would not want to be responsible for that.
Right. And you don't know these people well enough to know if they were going to be trustworthy with obscene amounts of money. Because how much did we actually sell as a team, you and I?
I don't know.
It was like $5,000?
$5,000 or $6,000.
Yes. So
in several hours. So it's a lot of money to entrust into a volunteer.
Yeah.
So I think the smart thing was to not allow cash. But I think the more interesting thing is, we all want to be charitable. And when you talk about budgeting and, money management, you almost have to make space and you have to make room for that. If that's something that you really want to do, it should be part of your budget. Mm-hmm. And I just found it interesting when you're in the environment of fandom and everybody is there. Anybody who knows us know that we're Detroit Lions fans.
Yes.
I've been a fan since the 2000s.
Since 73. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Roll back, Playboy.
I've been a fan since the 2000s. But you've been a fan since 73.
Right, since you married me, you've been a fan. But anyway, everybody knows we're fans. And when you're in the environment, and it's just cool to see everybody in, your team colors, the Honolulu blue and silver. And it was just the environment was you asked me, is it how do you feel just being in the environment? I was like, I'm hyped. It's we here. We had the Cleveland Brown fans with that, they had their doo-doo brown on.
He said it on air. Because I was thinking it. I sure was thinking it. I was like, is he going to say that? Yeah. That's what they had on.
But They got spanked.
They sure did. It was a cool experience, and I'm glad I participated, and I enjoy the fact that it was for a good cause, and I'm glad that, you know, we were able to help in that effort. However, for me, I was exhausted to start with because I had to drive 4 hours to get there before we even started, and then we were on our feet for a fully 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like it was
work.
It was some work. And the way my knees is set up right now, I was swollen. My knees were swollen. So not only did I have sweat equity in this, but I had to do some
physical recovery.
I had to do some rehab. Okay. Yeah. I needed a bath. I needed to massage my legs. I needed to elevate, you know what I'm saying, change my shoes. I had a whole regimen to get my body back in order after volunteering to raise money for my husband's job.
It was exciting though, because we were able to support, you know, care for patients and stuff like that.
You sound so like the internal employee who was selling tickets for a good cause. But it is for a good cause. It was never for your company.
No, not at all.
And so that also, you know, let's be very clear. This is for a donation.
We were just volunteering.
For cancer care.
Yeah, we were just volunteering to help raise funds. So we were just really volunteering our time, you know, to be a partner. Mm-hmm. But I think the point of us having the conversation on the podcast was, you know, when we were accepting credit cards and, you know, just the emotions that we saw people going through, there was trepidation. Some people were like, nah. And then like, we lured them in.
Yes. Well, and some people were like, catch me after a few more drinks. Right. And I was like, that's so true, because people get loose with their fingers. Yes. You know what I mean? Like their pocketbooks open up as time goes on, which is why at any of these fundraisers, there's alcohol served, right? When you actually go to a fundraiser,
like get loose with them.
They will have a bar. You know what I mean? Because they know that people are going to start feeling good. They're going to start pulling away from reality, and they're going to be loose with their pocketbooks. So,
right. And that's why I say, if you want to be charitable and you want to give, you should always make space and make a place to do that.
Yeah.
And this was just, you know, an exciting time or an exciting event that we were able to experience. But I think just watching the people, you know, and then people just started coming to us because you could tell they were regulars, like, give me $100 worth, $60, whatever denomination they were coming. I was like, oh, they regulars. They do this
all the time.
They're either season ticket holders, and they come and they do this every game.
Yeah.
You know, but it's almost like when you have those things, people start to dream also, because the jackpot, I mean, it got up pretty high.
So it was a 50-50 raffle. So that meant that whatever amount was raised,
half goes to the organization, half goes to the winner.
Yes.
But each would walk away with 6 figures.
Yes.
That's how big the pot got. It was 6 figures. And I just started thinking about when people play the lottery and, you know, people take chance at casinos. I think they're doing it because they're dreaming about the other possibilities. Mm-hmm. And we want you to dream about the possibilities, but we also want you to put things in place that can actually help you achieve those possibilities and not leave it to chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, for obviously the people who do this all the time, you know, this is nothing to them. They do this all the time. But there were people, we had so many stories. Like, we had people who the husbands was like, yeah, but my wife is not going to be happy about it. And what I would say was, she's going to be so proud of your philanthropic, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Philanthropic behavior. Like, she's going to look at you like, you got this. So I was playing into that, even though I know. So when you have made donations to some of these organizations yourself, and you came home and said, I spent $100. I'm like,
you like, huh?
We didn't talk about that. Like, I get it, but I was trying to coerce these husbands to spend anyway. Like, their wives would look at them like, you know, baby, you look good for, you know, donating to a good cause.
So funny, because I felt like the AT&T salespeople at Costco.
Yes.
like, excuse me, sir. And I always, whenever we walk in Costco and they say something, nope, you know what, I appreciate it, but I'm good.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of those, no, I'm good. I'm
Right.
good. And I was like, man, I feel like the AT&T cell phone salespeople.
No, I don't
That's
think
a rough job right there.
it is. And I don't think I felt sleazy, but I did in fact notice like people would not make eye contact when they didn't want to deal
Engage,
with you.
yes.
I would notice it too when they would smile as they walked past because they were really trying hard to maintain no eye contact. There was this.
I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, hey, yeah, I see you. We made eye contact.
Yes, and you know what? I saw you do that to somebody, and he walked over. He was like, "I see what you did there." Like he saw your play. Like he saw you looking to make eye contact with somebody.
I'm slick.
You
like
are. But you have a way of sales that actually is disarming. Even though this one technique that you did was hilarious. Somebody came up to us and they said, "Which way is the restroom?" You said, "Well,
whoa, hold on. I can help you out, but I'm gonna need you to get on these tickets first."
That's exactly right. And then when somebody came up to me and said something about some food or something, I said, "Well, I'll tell you for $20 on this 50-50 raffle, you get you 20 tickets." So listen, I learned from the master. Okay. But there was this part, so it became a game. Like, to be honest with you, it became a game.
It was fun for us.
We actually looked at the leaderboard to see where we were on the amount of, where we were on the spectrum. Yes. And so we were, at one point, you said we were at 6.
Yes. Out of like 50 some odd teams.
Yeah. So
we're competitive.
We did pretty good. Because we landed at around 11th.
Yeah.
So right around.
I think it's just funny that the competitive nature in us kicked in to raise more than the next team or the next team.
I'm more competitive because you're competitive.
Yeah. But you know what? We were having fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it went to a good cause, which I would support all over again. But it's just funny, more so like the psychology behind the way people handle and deal with money. Mm-hmm. Because you've already bought the tickets, you're at the sporting event, you're buying, food and beverage, you're around all the other fans, and it can cause you to do things that you may not normally do. Mm-hmm. And I think we're always talking about, progress over perfection. And there's going to be times when people go off track and they do things that would, be in the progress section versus perfection, because you get off plan, get off track. That's not really the perfect side of things, but you may have done something else that allowed you to make progress. So for me, I was just, I don't know, it was like a social experiment almost.
It was. That's actually a good way to put it. It was a social experiment.
For us, considering that we're talking about it on the podcast, it felt like a social experiment, just watching the husband and wives, or, the boyfriend and girlfriend. One guy, he was like, "Oh, my wife has my wallet." I was like, "Okay, I'll catch you when she come back."
Right. And then the little group of young people we kept seeing them, and you kept asking them, if they wanted to participate in a raffle, and you wore them down.
Yeah.
They
were like, no.
They kept saying no.
I said, apparently you guys need to participate because you keep following us.
Exactly. And then when they finally did purchase some raffle tickets, I said to them, "Now we can leave you alone."
But every time they saw us, they re-engaged with
us.
They did. We're personable people, but it really was the social experiment for me that was like, wow, this is just interesting.
Yeah.
Because then I saw there was a family, and the father was like, "You know what? I can't buy tickets because we spent all the money in the gift shop, in the fan store."
Yeah.
And I think they were buying stuff for someone who wasn't even there.
Well, it's funny because we got caught up in that too. We did buy stuff from the fan shop. It's so interesting because we only saw 1/4 of the game. Like we saw it on the screens. We were walking around. We could see bits and pieces of it. Yeah. We knew when the touchdown was going. We got it. We was in the energy. But we didn't see anything like for real until fourth quarter. And matter of fact, you were working at that point. Like you were conducting business, as you would say. And I got a chance to watch a good portion of the fourth quarter. But we were caught up in the moment. Like, it is exciting. Like, there's thousands and thousands. I don't even know how big the stadium is, but it's
tens of thousands of people.
Like a couple 100,000. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's not that many.
Okay, well, it's ridiculous how many people were in the stadium. And then it's all the people who are excited and it's seeing the colors and it's, they were doing well. Like, this was a great game. They were, getting the touchdowns, and it wasn't that many bad calls from what I could tell. Like, it was just really cool to be there, and you do get caught up. So I do understand that sometimes it is, like, you want to spend money and then you look back and you like, wait, what happened? Like, what in the world did I just do? So it was just interesting, like you said, as a social experiment to see how you respond. And it's, for me, after I had lunch, like before lunch,
started to descend for a minute.
Before lunch, I was about to get ill with somebody. I was about to go find a quiet place and hide, because at that point I had been walking and talking and trying
to for a while.
Yeah, like 1 o'clock, 1:30, I was like, I need to go hide and I get me some food in me. And the food was taking a long time.
But the thing that this has made me think about. I think that as people listen to this podcast, it's not our traditional podcast, but it always applies. It makes me think about, like, when I go to something like this, I will plan. I will beforehand think about, okay, I know there's a possibility of, silent auctions or raffles or this or that. And it will make me plan on how I want to participate and how I want to be generous. Because going into something, if you have already made the decision and you've planned beforehand, then it won't feel foreign when you're approached to do something.
So, practically speaking, put giving, donations, etc. in the budget.
Yep.
And or have a miscellaneous amount that you can have some wiggle room with, or shift dollars from other places if you're already in the month and it wasn't planned, right? So you can say, I would rather spend this $50 on this good cause versus on dining out. Or if the month is about to start, you can plan for what is ahead. Or I say, every single budget needs to have some miscellaneous money, because you don't want to run so close to the edge. You always want to have a little bit of extra for that just in case factor, right? And so if you're in the moment, you can actually be in the moment because you plan to have wiggle room for that purpose. And so practically speaking, I think it's important for people to think about that is a really, if that is a part of your makeup and you want to be a giver in that way and you tend to decide that this is what you want to do, you might as well plan for it.
Yeah. And I think even additionally, you talk about like margin in the budget, so you can have it planned. But we even operate with just margin. It has no name on it. It's just a little extra cushion in our budget should something come through that we hadn't planned for. It wouldn't cause any overdrafts. And it would just cover, it's kind of like that extra catch-all a little bit. And so we just kind of leave that in our account. And that's just a best practice that we would say, if you can afford, just leave $100, $200, $300 margin in your account. So if you do end up spending something, you don't have overdrafts, and this is how you protect yourself.
Right. And it reduces stress. And then if you use it, put it back. If you use it, make sure you put it back.
Because if you don't, it's not margin any longer.
Exactly. It's gone, right? So make sure that you put it back in the next budget cycle. But you mentioned, what you learned from this. And I want to share, like, one of the biggest things that I learned is, honestly, have empathy for the people who are doing this stuff. So typically you talked about like the AT&T people at Costco, right? Like Like, we'll see them and I will just be like, let's not make eye contact. But you know what? I think now for me, it's like saying, you know what? I'm good. Like, literally acknowledge them and say, I'm good. I don't need that. I appreciate it.
Have you ever noticed whenever we walk in there, that's what I do?
You do. You're way better at that than I am. You're way better.
Every time I'm like, hey, you know what? I appreciate it. We're set. But we appreciate, what you're doing. We appreciate your time. Like, I don't need the service, but I understand the difficulty in that job.
Yeah.
When you have people who are ignoring you, and people can be rude.
And we acknowledge that it's a hard job in terms of, you're trying to get people to care about what it is you're selling. It's also hard for other reasons. I realize you're right that people are rude. They're standing on their feet the whole time. They probably, honestly, for that type of job, they probably have quotas. They probably need to have spoken to several.
And when I say rude, I'm not talking about the people like working or something.
No, I'm talking about people we got some folks that were rude to us.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So the consumer, the person that you're trying to get to buy the raffle ticket or to engage in talking with you about AT&T, those people can be rude, and because they don't want it or they don't feel like being bothered.
Yes.
And now I have a different level of empathy and compassion and understanding for the salesperson in that role, because I've been there now. Like, and we did some of this kind of stuff, like with,
we volunteer with our daughter.
Yeah, we've done, but this was a little more extreme because it was on a higher level in terms of like the amount of people, the short amount of time, the restrictions associated with it, because we couldn't, for instance, go up to the for real suites, right? Because unless asked, right?
Yeah. And they gotta have things, parameters in place.
Right. But the point is that you wanted to make a reasonable contribution, a sizable contribution to the effort of raising funds. And that requires speaking up, so towards the end of the day, when I finally got my food after lunch, because I needed some fuel, when I finally got some food and I was like, all right, let's push through. It was like, another hour or something like that. And I was like, it's for a good cause. The 50-50 raffle is about to end.
You got
Get your tickets now. You're going to miss out. Then I was talking about how it was increasing. I was telling people it's at 87,000. It's at 150,000. Oh my gosh, we're about to hit 200,000. So I started really getting into it and letting folks know, you got 1 minute left. 1 minute left. We're about to. But because, again, at that point, it was like the energy in the moment, I was excited about it, and I also knew it was about to end. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be rude to people.
I know.
If you're not interested, just say, I appreciate it, but no thank you.
Yeah.
Just keep it moving. But we need to treat people nicely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We out here volunteering our time. Don't be rude to me. But we had us a good time, and I think my make it worth it. I think I've already stated it, but I say, plan to be generous, make room for generosity. So when you go to things where there may be fundraising, like people don't go to a game expecting there to be fundraising, but you could be in a number of different environments where that is the case, and make some room, think about others, because there's a lot of times where we don't put others ahead of ourselves, and we don't think about the broader context of how a small contribution that we can make can have such a huge impact. So I say just plan to be generous. That's my make it worth it. What about you?
I'm going to simply say that giving is fun. And it is more enjoyable when you have planned, right?
Well,
so
what does the Bible say? It is more blessed to
give than to receive.
There it is.
And so that I do think that people enjoy being able to do it. I do think that they also don't like being coerced into it, right? But I think if this is something that you desire, like you said, plan for it, because it should be a joy to be a part of helping someone else. And so anytime I would say it was for a good cause, people resonated with that. And so think about that too. Just when you plan for it, it makes the spirit of giving that much more enjoyable.
And you best believe when they announced those numbers in the fourth quarter, people were like,
looking at their numbers.
Pull my numbers out.
Because somebody won over $100,000 on Sunday.
Right.
So that was pretty
You know
cool.
what? Next game I'm at, I'm buying some raffle tickets.
All right, put it in the budget, babe. That's all I'm saying.
There it is.
That's all I'm saying. Okay, just put it in the budget. So
I'm a plan to be generous.
yes, you're going. Are you going to a fundraiser this week?
Well, possibly. I'm a plan to be generous there.
I
so.
know. Again, put it in the budget, babe.
Well, hey, we hope you got something out of this, and that you will plan to be generous, and you'll be nice to the people. You won't be rude.
That's right.
And you never know what kind of blessing will come out of it.
You're right. You're right. Actually, that's the other thing is we did talk to a couple people who knew or sat next to the winner a couple weeks ago, as well as someone else knew a person who won at a different game. So the winners are out there, okay? Yes. Not that we want you necessarily doing it to be the winner. Do it because it's a good cause. How about that?
Yeah. If you win, that's just a side benefit, I guess. But, so, hey, until next time,
we're out.
Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on ForBetterandWorth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.